Question 21. What is the perimeter of the right triangle? Now we should remember that perimeter is all of the sides added together, which means we've got to figure out this longer side. That's going to draw back on some of your learning from last year, where you should recall that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. That's your Pythagorean theorem. And we are given an a squared and a b squared. We're given an a and a b. We need to find c. So we're going to plug in our a squared, 10 root 350 squared. And we're going to plug in our b squared, so plus 5 root 504 squared. And we want that to all equal c squared. So the very first thing that we have to do is figure out what in the world 10 root 350 squared is. Remember, that's the same thing as 10 root 350 times 10 root 350. So 10 times 10, that's going to give us 100. Times root 350 times root 350 is is 350. And so we multiply those two together, and we end up with 35000. So a squared is 35,000. Well, now we have to do the same thing for b squared. And since we started to put together the process, we're going to square the first value. 5 times 5 is 25. Root 504 times root 504 is 504. And so we end up multiplying 504 times 25, and we get 12,600. We're going to add the 12,600 to the 35,000. And all of a sudden, we end up with a c squared value that equals 476,000. Well, that's nice, but not quite to a simplified answer yet. We need to take the square root of both to figure out what c is. And so the square root of 47,600. Well, now is where, if we knew some factors, it would be really nice. Well, we have a number that ends in 00, so I'm going to assume pretty good chance that it's going to be divisible by 25. Even better, let's go with, hey, we end in 00, it's going to be divisible by 100. So one of our factors is 100, the other factor is 476. All right, well, we want to find our factors of 476. Divisible by 2, looks like it's also divisible by 4. So 4 and 119. 119 is a prime number. So it's not going to get any lower than that. So we have square root of 100. We have square root of 4. The square root of 100 is 10. Square root of 4 is 2. Root 119. So that ends up with 20 root 119. Well, now let's look at our other values and see whether or not they simplify down at all. Because if they do, we might have some like terms and just not know it. So we have 20 root 119, and we want to do a factor tree for 504. And it looks like 504 is divisible by 36. So that gives us a square root of 6. 7 and 2 would be our other factors that are prime values, so 14 is not going to simplify down at all, which gives us 5 times 6 times root 14, which gives us 30 root 14. Well, that's good to know. At least we know that it's not a like term. Let's simplify our other one. 350, well, ends in a 0, so my factors are probably 35 and 10, where this would be 7 and 5, and this would be 5 and 2. And so we would be able to pull out a 5, which is going to give me 10 times 10 times 5 times root 14. 10 times 5 is 50 root 14. Now at this point we've got numbers all over the place. Yes, I realize it's getting more complex because we had to find the value of C, we had to simplify any given radicals, and we still have not even addressed the perimeter of the problem. But we now know our values for each side. So we have 50 root 14 plus 30 root 14 plus 20 root 119. We have some like terms, so we will end up with 50 and 30 is 80 root 14 plus 20 root 119. And that will be our final answer. 80 root 14 plus 20 root 119 units. Lucy is building a rectangular garden that is 3x minus 8 units long and 2x plus 3 units wide. What an algebraic expression would represent the area of the garden? Algebraic expression is going to be area being equal to length times width. So the area is equal to 3x minus 8 times 2x plus 3. Well, that's not too bad. It looks like we've got two binomials, so we can FOIL. So 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 3 is 9x. Negative 8 times 2x is negative 16x. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Combine our like terms. 6x squared minus 7x minus 24 units squared. All right. Cameron needs to take 5 milliliters of medicine 2 times a day for 10 days. Her pharmacist has filled one bottle with 1.3 deciliters. How much will the bottle contain? Sorry, how much will the second bottle contain? So we want to remember that King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So a couple of things we want to remember. We have 5 milliliters. And he's taking it 2 times a day, so we need to multiply by 2. And he's taking it for 10 days, so we need to multiply by 10. 5 times 2 is 10. Times 10 is 100 milliliters of medicine that is needed. Now, we are going from milliliters, which is here, to deciliters, which is here. So we're moving over 2 units. If we're starting with 100 milliliters and we move over 2 units, that means we need 1 deciliter Her pharmacist filled the bottle with 1.3 deciliters of medicine. So her pharmacist has already provided more than enough medicine for the 10-day period. All right, Katie the panther can run 60 miles per hour. Leo the leopard can run 5,104 feet per minute. A gazelle is 150 feet away from both animals. Which animal will get to it first? So they are both the same distance away. We want to know which animal is faster. So let's compare. We have 5,104 feet per minute there. We have miles per hour here. So let's convert one of them. Let's start out with our 60 miles per 1 hour. And we want to go from hours to minutes, and we want to go from miles to feet. So let's start with transferring my miles. We have 1 mile is equivalent to 5,280 feet, which means I can cancel out my miles units, and we're left with feet, which is what we want to be left with. All right, we want to cancel out hours, so I needed hours in the numerator. 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes, so I can cancel out hours. We're left with minutes in the denominator. That's what we're trying to get to. So we now have 60 times 5,280, which equals 316,800. 1 times 1 times 60. So we want to divide by 60, and that equals 5,280 feet per minute. So which animal can run faster? The one that can run faster is Katie the panther. So Katie will get to the gazelle first. Now that you have completed all of the work, you are going to make 10 additional problems. So go back to previous notes, previous homework assignments to help you make 10 additional problems. You must also provide solutions to the problems. It would be advantageous to coordinate with others in the class, because you could then ask them to share their problems with you so that you have additional practice problems. Please note, the study guide is just a sample of the Unit 1 content. You will still want to review your notes and previous homework assignments prior to taking the test.